Just gay stuff.
Did you literally just hurt yourself?
Yeah, my neck cracked as I was dancing to our theme song.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Just Gay Stuff podcast. I am Jess.
And I'm Lauren.
And if this is any indication of how our week is going, this is the exact way our week is going. Lauren hurting herself in the intro of this.
Yeah.
It's been a stressful one, everyone.
I'd say pretty standard for me.
Yeah, actually, that's true. You do hurt yourself on a weekly basis.
Yes,
and
I
same lately. Although,
yeah, but yours is sport injury related and you haven't had that in a while from
if
rain.
anyone's been following, my back is slowly getting better.
Woo!
Well, it has been a stressful week. There's been some big changes in our household. It's very up and down. So I thought we needed another laugh episode because life can get heavy. Some topics are heavier than others. We
Especially
all know.
our history ones.
Yes, we've been doing some history episodes so they can get heavy. And, you know, we can all use a laugh now and then, I thought.
Laughing is the best kind of medicine, I think. It just breaks it up a bit.
Oh, definitely. So no matter when, where or how you're listening to this right now, thank you for tuning in. And we hope that this week's episode brings a smile to your face. And I'm hoping
excited.
It brings another one to me reading these stories all over again.
Oh, story time.
Yes, it is story time.
I'm excited because I don't know anything about this.
This week, we are getting into what embarrassing or silly thing have you done to try and win someone over?
Oh, gosh.
Have we all been there?
Yes.
I feel like I've definitely been there.
Yes.
Have you ever done something silly or embarrassing?
I have. I don't know if you count it as silly or embarrassing, but I definitely know that it's been something to try and just fit in with someone or impress someone. I think in year 7, and my mum will attest to this, again, probably the same reason why the girls ended up calling me lesbian anyways, but I didn't realize at the time that I had feelings for this person as well. You know, year 7, you don't know what feelings are. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether it was like just wanting to be that friendship or be that whatever.
Or a bit more.
Mm-hmm. And went to the shops with them, fully blonde, innocent, blue-eyed, or maybe I had red hair at the time, I don't know, and then came back from my mum to pick me up from the shopping centre with full like emo fake nose ring in.
Was that what this chick was into?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, she like did the makeover and stuff.
Oh, she did a makeover
on me, and that's
and
what
you were
she
like,
was into.
I look
was
great.
Like, I look so good.
But you were like, as long as you think I look great.
Yeah. So my mum got the fright of her life when I came out. She sent in this blonde, innocent or redhead, innocent looking girl into the shopping centre and came out, and I had like black lipstick, dark blue, purple eyeshadow, a fake nose ring, and she was like, what the fuck, that ain't my child.
I bet you that gave her the fright of her life.
It really did. What about you?
Look, I've done some pretty gnarly things. And actually, before we came in to record, I actually remembered another thing I did.
Oh, did you?
So there's a few things. I'm going to start with the earliest memory I have.
Yeah.
Which is the girl that I liked when I was 10. Who
Was it Britney Spears?
No, yeah, but like the girl that I like looked like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
And I think I've said on the podcast before, I remember telling her I liked her once and she was like, I'd date you if you were a boy.
Yeah.
So like the next day I went to school and I wore like boxers under my shorts like the guys did. And then we had a free dress day, but you had to dress like a pop star.
So you're like, I'm going to dress like a boy.
I literally dressed like Justin Timberlake.
Oh my
And
Lord.
look at me. I have not really changed. Do I look like Justin Timberlake? No. I just looked like a tomboy, which is what I looked like anyway back then. So that was the first one.
Oh.
The second one was this girl that was part of my softball team.
Yeah.
I think this was grade 7. I had a mad crush on her. I don't even know why. She was my type. She was blonde and blue-eyed. That is definitely my type.
Present.
She was obsessed with R. Kelly's song Remix to Ignition.
Right.
And she would sing it at practice. And so I went away and learned all the lyrics to it so that I could sing it with her the next time we had practice.
Die hard.
But I never did.
Aww.
But I knew what she was singing then because I was like, I know this song. And I did like the song.
That's a little bit stalkerish, man.
It gets worse.
Oh,
it
shit.
gets worse. One of my girlfriends I had used to work at a coffee shop, and every day that she was working, I would drive to the coffee shop and have lunch at her work.
Oh.
It wasn't close either. I had to take a toll. I had to take a toll road, but I wouldn't call that embarrassing. I'd call that dedication to the wooing process.
Yeah.
But you also said the word stalkerish, and I feel like looking back, that was quite stalkerish.
Just as you were talking, I was like, I don't know if this is really embarrassing. It's more just like, why would I do that?
Why?
Like, I remember trying to, maybe it was also just a politeness thing. And I wasn't always a vegetarian, but I never really ate anything other than like a mince or chicken or something like that. But I remember when I had just gotten to know someone and I was at their grandmother's house and she had cooked pork and it was like a full pork.
You're Jewish, you don't eat pork.
I know, and I had to try and pretend and take a bite, and it got to a point where I felt so sick that I was like gonna throw up, but I just had to commit to the bit, and I was like,
you committed to the bit, but that's like against your religion.
Yeah, I
even.
know, it was so bad.
Wow, that is something crazy. My last thing is, you know, I had a mad crush on this girl that I met from Sydney, and I think we've spoken about it briefly.
You have spoken about that.
Yeah, so she lived in Sydney, I lived in Brisbane, and we both knew it was never going to work. But I flew to Sydney every weekend for a month just to spend time with her.
Crazy.
And then obviously she never saw us becoming a thing. And while it hurt at the time, that really sucked. And yeah.
I remember the girl that I liked, which was really bad because it was the best friend of the girl that liked me.
Oh no. That's someone's worst nightmare right there.
She worked at Subway. And I purposely got a job next to the Subway in the same shopping centre.
Is this like a single white female thing?
No. Purposely got a job in the shopping centre so that I could go to Subway and buy cookies from her every single day.
Oh, wow. That's cute. Actually, really quick.
Is it cute or is it?
No, it's cute. Really quick. Can you tell your single white female story without mentioning names?
Yeah, I can.
Because I have not seen the movie. I know everyone is so shocked I've not seen the movie. But Lauren has actually, in real life, been single white female.
To this day, I still don't even know what her real name is.
Oh,
because
did she just tell you it was Lauren?
Yeah, she went by Lauren. Did I not tell you that? No. Yeah. So I had just moved up here. I hadn't met anyone yet. My sisters were still in school and everything. And there was a church that lived next to us.
Church lived next to you.
There was a church that we live next to. Shut up. It's been a long day at the office, okay? And I was like, oh, we'll just go there after school or work or whatever. And I made friends with this girl. She told me her name was Lauren, and I was like, oh, that's cool because I hadn't met anyone.
But did she know your name was Lauren before she said her name was Lauren? Oh, okay.
So I introduced myself and I was like, oh, hey, my name is Lauren, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, me too, blah, blah. We went on this full conversation and everything. This was also before I came out and had an 8-year relationship with a man and everything.
Yeah.
And then we got talking and we became Facebook friends. And then...
So really, if her name wasn't Lauren, she fully created a Facebook profile just to be your friend.
Yeah, literally. So I'm like, I still have no idea till this day. But at the time, I was studying business and marketing as well as doing photography on the side. And I remember talking to her when I had first met her. She had nothing to do with photography, nothing to do with marketing, nothing to do with anything. And I was like, oh, I've started doing this photography business, blah, blah, blah. Then 2 minutes later, oh, me too. I'm doing photography, blah, blah, blah. She had organized this flash mob dance shoot thing for like photography. And I was there to help her do the photography. But then she claimed it was her. And at the time, you know, I was seeing a psychologist because I was still going through a lot of medical stuff and telling her all about what was going on. And then there would be something where I'd go, oh, I'm going to go to school for marketing or I'm going to do this. She goes, oh, I'm going to do that too. And just kept going to the point where like she would start to dress the way that I was dressing. She would start to act the way that I was acting. And then my psychologist went to a point was like, you need to try and cut this person off. And she was like, if you dye your hair purple, she'll dye her hair purple. So it never got to that stage because I had just tried to block her and cut her off from life. But I was like, Jesus Christ.
And we laugh about it, but it's scary.
It is scary. And I had never heard of the movie Single White Female. It was my psychologist that actually said to me, oh, she's single white femaling you. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
That's what I was like when you were like, I've been single white female.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, we laugh about it, but yeah, scary experience because
scary.
it could have gone way worse. It's like, where's the line in those people that go from single white female to identity theft?
Yeah, totally. And I know they say that copying someone is the greatest form of flattery, but I think it only goes so far. And I think we know that. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
So we asked the question on our socials this week, what was the most embarrassing or silliest thing you did to try and win someone over? And these are the stories we got back. So we have a few here.
Okay.
Dear Jess and Lauren, I once worked at a family-owned grocery store. Think like IGA, but in a very small town in central Queensland.
Got it. Mental noted.
I was in high school at the time, and this girl I liked went to my school, which wasn't hard. There was only one high school in the town itself.
Oh, no.
The one time she came in to get some groceries without her parents, it was almost closing time. She'd said she'd been sent to get supplies, but the problem was she would have to walk them home. As it was almost closing time of the store, I asked her if she didn't mind waiting the last 20 minutes and I would put her groceries through and then I would help her take them home. After offering, I didn't realise she actually meant she needed a big shop. I also didn't have a car.
Oh, no.
So this meant we were walking all that she'd bought home with her. Granted, she didn't live too far, but picture this. Me and her carrying 3 bags of shopping each, and on top of that, me carrying a whole watermelon about 300 metres down the road and around the corner to her place. When we got to the door, she thanked me profusely and even planted a little kiss on my cheek.
Aww.
To be honest, I would have helped anyone in this way. It was just a bonus that I thought I could win some brownie points with her. Big flop though. The next day at school, she walked past me and I waved, but she pretended she didn't know who I was and kept chatting with her friends. I was gutted. The next time she came into the store, I gave her some of her own medicine. She quickly unbecame my crush.
Oh, that's a sad one. I thought it was going to be cute. I
Nah.
thought it was going to be cute with the little kiss on the cheek.
I feel like these are silly and embarrassing for a reason.
Yeah.
They don't work out.
No, that's sad.
I think what's sadder is this person was going to go above and beyond anyway, and she needed the help. So for someone to help you and then you don't even acknowledge them the next day, that's pretty rough.
That's pretty rude, but I think, sometimes you even see that in movies where it's like the closeted gay or the closeted lesbian.
And we don't know the hierarchy
And you don't
of
know
these
the hierarchy,
people.
and we don't know what their family life is like. So,
Yeah. Okay, next one. Hi, Jess and Lauren. I was excited when you put this question up.
Ooh,
This was also my very first crush that I can remember.
oh no,
An awakening crush, if you will. My parents and I had just moved to a new neighbourhood and would become friends with the family next door. They also had a daughter the same age as me. I think we were about 6 or 7 at the time. Oh, there you go. It's always these 6 or 7.
it always starts young.
Because we had only just moved in, the second story deck on our house wasn't finished. I thought I was cool by inviting her to sit up on the deck with me.
You just said the deck wasn't finished, and my brain's already like, I know where this is going.
I thought I was cool by inviting her to sit up on the deck with me because it was a pretty nice view. I then dared her to jump off. When she said no, I decided I would jump off to try and impress her.
Oh my God.
Well, that didn't work. An ambulance was called. I had broken my leg. She wasn't impressed, and her family thought I was an idiot making a bad impression on their kid. I broke my leg and my heart that day. We hardly hung out much after that.
Aw, big talks at 7.
Actually, really quickly, because you mentioned Subway before.
Oh, yeah.
I actually had a friend that worked at Subway, and every time their crush came into Subway, they would give them their sub for free.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they'll give them an extra cookie.
No, they gave them their sub for free, which I think is a lot more brazen, because then when the manager came in, and of course the tiller's out because they've used all these
Yeah.
ingredients and stuff, they got the sack.
Oh, did they actually?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're giving food for free for this one person.
I hope it was worth it.
Oh, I mean,
You wouldn't know.
how long's it been since we've been in high school? They're not
Too
together.
long.
They're not together.
Too long.
All right, another high school tale. And a typical lesbian pining over her best friend tale.
Do you know, I can honestly say I have never pined over my best friend.
Neither.
Good, I'm glad you've never pined over my best friend either.
No, I meant my best friend.
No, I know. No, I know. And my best friend would be grateful. We speak about it all the time, her and I. And she's like, we just could never go there.
No, and that's how I feel with my best friend.
Yeah.
I feel like,
We're like
there's a different level of friendship there though.
We're sisters. We've grown
Yeah.
up together. And it's the same as you and your best friend.
Yeah.
Like,
there's definitely
it's a
zero
different
romance.
thing. Yeah, it'd be like, oh, kissing your sister
Actually, do you
brother.
know this one time in drama class, my best friend
This
and
one
I...
time at band camp?
No, this one time in drama class, my best friend and I had to do a play where she was supposed to play a man and I was the woman.
Yeah.
And
Did you
in
just
a-
have to kiss?
No.
Oh.
In a split second where I was sitting on her knee, I was like, could I go here? And then I was like, no.
You're like,
I was like, I don't know how people have mad crushes on their best friends.
yeah, I don't get it.
Anyway.
I don't think you guys are actual real best friends if that's the...
If there's a crush happening, yeah,
Yeah.
someone's got an agenda.
yeah.
Okay, so she was my best friend in most of my high school classes, and she was in big band playing the flute. Oh, look, at
I
band
was
camp.
at band camp. Oh, see, I freaking knew it.
I went to her every performance that she did, whether it was for the school or outside of the school. She also came from a very religious family.
Oh,
To impress her, I went to mass with her every Sunday and at Christmas time.
you poor thing.
And I opted to do Sunday school with her when her parents made her go, so she didn't have to do it by herself.
Wow.
What a great best friend.
Yeah, you
Wow.
must have really been into her.
I accidentally won a competition once that my best friend wanted to win and enter, and she didn't talk to me for a week.
Really?
Yeah, it was
But
funny
you guys
though.
are both stubborn, so...
We are. After all that, we got drunk at a party once and we made out. I
Ooh.
confessed all my feelings for her and it felt like a weight had lifted off my chest. She told me she liked me too, and in secret, we dated for about 2 months until one day she told me God told her she had to break up with me.
God told her.
That was it.
God told her nothing. Parents told her.
God cares less about who you're sleeping with and more about who you're trying to kill.
You know what my problem is when people say like God told me to do this or God has this agenda or God this. I'm like, God made someone queer. God made someone gay. So God accepts everyone in each flavor.
God accepts everyone in their flavor. You meant flavor,
Yeah, that.
not like chicken, vanilla,
No,
chocolate.
not chicken. Well, I'd be the chicken, you'd be the chocolate.
All right. This next one is funny. I remember the very first girl I liked in school. I was about 6 years old.
Oh, here we go.
6 years old seems to be the
Themes.
The theme.
Mine was 10,
No, I
5,
yeah,
10,
mine was
12.
10.
I don't know.
Although I remember my first crush being around like 3 years old.
No, mine must have been 10 because it was Elizabeth Taylor because I like the older women.
I'm 3 years older than you, Lauren. You could be Elizabeth Taylor's 8th marriage.
I don't want to be her 8th marriage. She's dead.
Okay, I remember the very first girl I liked in school. I was about 6 years old. Every day, I would offer her the money my parents had given me for tuck shop just because I liked her. When I told my parents what I'd done, they were really mad at me, and at 6 years old, I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
I even told them that she didn't accept any of the money that I'd offered, which calmed them down a little bit. But I didn't understand what was wrong with giving a girl money because I liked her. I liked her, so I wanted to give her gifts, and the gifts I was trying to give her was my lunch money.
And that's how strippers were done in primary school. No, I'm just
How
kidding.
Do you explain to a child that giving money to a date is a whole different concept of intimacy that should not be explored at 6 years
At
old?
6 years old, I don't think you can. I don't think they'll understand.
That's pretty funny.
That is funny.
It reminds me of that meme that's like the kid draws what their mum does for a living.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're on the stripper pole with the
but
money.
she's a firefighter.
No, I think she was like digging through snow and people were giving her money.
All right.
Next one. When I was 10, I found out that the girl next door that I liked loved butterflies. So I spent the whole weekend drawing as many butterflies as I could and cutting them out. Then when her family wasn't home, I found my dad's Gorilla Glue
Oh, no.
and went next door and glued all the butterflies I'd cut out to her front door and her garage.
Oh, no.
I thought it was a grand gesture at 10 years old, but apparently it was considered graffiti, and because the glue meant half of the paper and cardboard didn't come off, her whole family was pretty mad at me. I spent the next weekend trying to help her dad get the door and the garage back to normal. Bottom line, I did not impress her.
Look, your heart was in the right place at 10 years old. I do understand the concept.
That was pretty cute.
That is pretty cute. I get it.
That's pretty cute. None of these have been wildly embarrassing.
No, I don't think they have been. I think
rejection.
yes, rejection and it's cuteness. I was trying to think if I had any more embarrassing ones, but
I'm
I don't
sure you do.
think so.
Think while I do this next one.
Okay.
Back in the 2000s, in my English class, we had to do a full presentation on a band that we liked. The girl I liked did her whole presentation on the band Insane Clown Posse. I'd heard of them briefly, but because she liked them, I ended up purchasing all of their albums at the time and even changing my MySpace page song to one of theirs. Whoa, this is going back. MySpace.
Bringing the memes back.
One night on MSN, I decided to impress her by talking the band up and saying how much I loved them. After a few minutes of no reply, she told me she didn't care about Insane Clown Posse anymore, and she told me she loved Tattoo. Oh well. Did you ever do that? Did you ever pretend to just like something for the sake of somebody else?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. What was it? I can't even think right now what it would have been, but I definitely would have.
I feel like some of mine was altering my opinions to try and fit someone else's, but then the bottom line was I kept coming back to my own, and then there would be an argument.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you disagree with somebody about something, but then you're trying to kind of be like, no, I see where you're coming from. And then that just eats at me and I go, nah.
Yeah, see, I'm not stubborn like that, so I've never done that. I definitely would have, I guess, tried to fit the mold per se for that person.
Like being straight for 8 years.
Yeah.
In a relationship.
Exactly. Or I guess, as you could say, I've seen other people, like being into hiking or outdoor activity and stuff for a person that they liked.
Never been like
and they're like, no.
Yeah. Should we be doing that? I mean, I think you can do things to impress people, but don't change who you are, because then you're giving people a false sense of who you are.
I think you can have a trial and see, if you like it. But yeah, the right person will like you for you. So.
Yeah, totally. Let's jump back in. The next one, speaking of bands and music. Hey, Jess and Lauren, a few years ago, a girl I liked mentioned that she really loved a band that was coming to our city really soon. But due to some unforeseen circumstances, she wasn't able to afford tickets.
Oh, no.
Trying to impress her as best I could, I surprised her with 2 tickets to the show, one in my name and one in hers. After receiving the tickets from me, she thanked me and then asked if it mattered that one ticket was in my name, even though she wouldn't be taking me.
What a bitch!
What? I had bought these tickets legitimately thinking she would invite me to go with her. We were good friends, not strangers. Anyway, she ended up taking some guy friend she'd never mentioned before, and last year I saw that they got married.
What?
I'm still salty about it.
I would be salty too. This could be like your hard-earned money or pocket money or whatever age. I don't know how old this person was. But I would be salty if you sent someone tickets. Also, why did you send both tickets to her? Why didn't you just keep your ticket for you?
I think they weren't just assuming that they were going to go, but hoping they were going to go.
Oh.
If I bought you 2 tickets to go somewhere,
yes.
I mean, I would assume I'm coming with.
But we're in a relationship,
That's
so
true.
yes.
But you could take your best friend. I wouldn't be like, oh.
Well.
Actually, when I read this
Just
story.
kidding. You and my best friend would go and I'd be the one at
Probably. When I read this story, it reminded me of a story that my friend told me, which is a cheating story. So it kind of falls under the worst first dates headline.
Yeah.
But so my friend was dating this girl and they'd been together for a fair few years, and she had bought this girl AC/DC tickets to go with a friend.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't an AC/DC fan. And she was like, do you know what?
Go.
Yeah, you go, take your friend, whatever. It ended up that she was actually cheating on her with that friend.
What?
And so she had just paid for them to go on a date.
It's crazy.
It's terrible.
That's so bad.
Terrible. Okay, next one. Hi, Lauren and Jess. Oh, look, they put your name first.
Oh, yay.
I had a long distance friend for about 4 years that I ended up having pretty strong feelings for. In this time, we had never met once.
Sorry, I just thought I made that noise because I just thought of embarrassing things that I did.
Oh, tell after. Every night we would Skype, so this was before FaceTime.
Yeah.
And we would message all day, every day. She absolutely loved Harry Potter. So every night, that's a gay thing for sure.
What, liking Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Why?
She absolutely loved Harry Potter. So every night on our Skype calls, I would read the books to her like a bedtime story as we fell asleep.
Aw, cute.
I thought that this was the most romantic thing I could ever do for a girl. When we finished the last book, she told me that she liked me, but she knew it would never work because we lived too far away. So the last thing she said on that call was that she didn't want to keep kidding herself and she thought it was best that we cut ties. I was heartbroken, but at least I'd read all the Harry Potter books before J.K. Rowling became toxic. So I guess I got something out of it. I mean, touché.
I mean, yes, but I think just reading the Live Too Far Away, she was not really into the lesbianist vibes.
No, really, if this was a lesbian story, they would have got married and still never met.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you do that was embarrassing that reminded you of?
No, it wasn't even that. It was just I had to go in through the files in my brain and find out. No, I remember, and this is going back to heterosexual days.
Oh, take me there.
But back when, you know, I had only just started getting attention from boys. Mm-hmm. But I remember this one guy really liked the show Naruto.
Oh, Naruto, yeah.
And him and his best friend had learnt the handshake to it. So I purposely learnt the handshake to Naruto so that I could join in on the fun.
Actually, that reminds me, that girl that I liked in uni, I learnt what was the Miley Cyrus dance?
Oh, the hoedown, throwdown?
I learnt the hoedown, throwdown, and I thought that would impress her. No, I don't know it.
Oh, damn. I was going to get you out.
No, do not. Do not.
I think the other one was watching Star Wars. Not that I remember any of it.
Oh, my God.
It was like the first one ever. But I've never been a fan of Star Wars, and I was 15 and I don't remember. Or like, you know, when you had the phone filters on the Motorola phone or changing MSN status or something, or like logging off and then I saw that he was online, so I logged back on.
Oh, yeah. Actually, speaking of that, if you see someone that you liked come on MSN and you logged off and logged back on so they'd get a notification that you were there.
You were on.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely did that. I feel like I've done some really strange things.
I've done so many cringy things, and I'm sure a lot of our friends have probably done some cringy things.
Definitely.
So.
All right, next one. Are you good?
Yep.
All right, next one. So this one is not embarrassing to win someone over, but this person has said this is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to them.
Oh, okay.
My husband and my friend's husband were both Marines, and at one point my husband was stationed in Japan for a year. I flew out to visit him for a month, and it was during that time that we decided to make a few videos of ourselves. No one else was ever supposed to see them. See, everybody says that, but I feel like when you make videos of yourself,
secret little, it's that enticement of like, oh, we might get caught.
Yeah, but also, why do you make them? Are you going to watch them back, or are you secretly hoping someone might see them one day?
Some people do watch them back. It's an arousal thing for couples.
I would hate to see myself.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we're not doing terrible. That one.
One day, I had a concert on my laptop that we all wanted to watch.
I already know where this is going.
So my friend and her husband invited us over to their house. I handed off my laptop and my friend's husband connected it to their 65-inch TV. And, like it's supposed to, my computer screen then displayed on their TV. He asked me where the concert was, and so I told him about the videos folder. Well, in that videos folder was another folder also labelled videos, except those were our naughty videos. He wasn't paying super close attention and missed that the concert was right there and instead double-clicked on the second videos folder.
Oh, no.
Before I could even scream, no, there they were. In all their extra large thumbnail glory.
Oh, no.
My friend's husband screamed and dove off the side of the couch. My friend was dying of laughter. My husband was just sitting there sipping his tea completely unbothered, and I am scrambling to get up off the sofa and shut the laptop. I felt like absolutely disappearing and remember telling my husband, well, I guess I'm moving to Canada now. Thankfully, my friend took it in stride and we all still laugh about that day.
That is an amazing story. Do you know what? Just reading that, I pictured the whole scene.
Same.
Like the couch and the friend diving, being like, oh my God, and the other friend pissing laughing, and the husband's just like...
Yeah. Without incriminating myself,
oh God,
I remember inviting a friend over to watch a movie one day, and
was the movie just porn?
Yeah, but that wasn't my intention of what we were going to watch. It was labelled Transformers.
Oh, it was the wrong Transformers.
Yeah, no, that was the title they'd given the movie. My mum downloaded it.
I was going to say, was this on one of those?
Yes.
Pirate.
So in the DVD goes and the movie starts and it literally was like the start of Transformers.
But to be fair, was your mum like, what the?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh shit.
I mean, that would be how a Transformer probably would sound.
Not in that context.
Well, you don't know. Have you ever heard it? I'm not going there.
No, Lauren, I don't know what kind of videos you watch, but
Not
I
those.
don't know. Okay, we're going to end on this one.
Okay.
We hope that everyone has had a laugh.
I definitely have.
This one is going to be a good one to end on. So, this one.
Wait, you have to preface this one the fact that we are also learning this.
Oh,
at
yeah.
the moment.
This one is funny because Lauren and I are also learning Spanish, and this one has a bit of a Spanish twist. So, this one says, it was the first week I was teaching in Spain and I ordered a drink in a bar. They gave me some free tapas and one of them was prawns, which I can't eat because I'm allergic. I tried to practice my then very shaky Spanish. I meant to say, no puede comer porque tengo alérgica con marisco. I can't eat because I'm allergic to shellfish.
That was very good.
Thank you, baby. I accidentally said maricon instead of marisco at the end. Maricon means street slang for homosexual men. After the waiter had finished laughing, he asked me what I'd like instead then. I figured chicken could be great. Chicken in Spanish is pollo. Dick in Spanish is polla. Guess which one I ordered?
Oh, that was the best one to end on.
I think embarrassing stories are really funny. And I know that those last two weren't trying to win anyone over, although
the last one I'm questioning about, I'm like, is the bartender male? Because then you could have been flirting a little
yeah,
bit.
I mean, I think he was. Yeah, he
Yeah.
asked me what I'd like instead.
Yeah, so you might have said you were bad at Spaniel, but were you actually?
Maybe you were just trying to pick someone up at the bar.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode and we hope it gave you a laugh.
It gave me a laugh, and as you can tell, as always, we're a bit delirious.
We needed a palate cleanser this week.
We did, because, you know, we keep deep diving into history.
And as we know, history isn't always fun and exciting and
No, but it's important to
laughable.
learn and
It is.
and fun to know. But this good little palate cleanser laugh has been great
So,
and well needed.
yes, it has been well needed in this very stressful week in our household.
Yes.
So thanks everybody for tuning in another week of Just Gay Stuff podcast. We hope you have had a fabulous time here listening to us, whether it's been on Joy or on your drive or wherever you're
reading
listening.
Q News.
Yes, or reading Q News, because that is our latest venture if you're picking up a Q News magazine.
That
And
is. Do you guys have any embarrassing stories of trying to win over a date or a crush or anyone? Please let us know.
Or embarrassing stories in general.
Yeah.
And just send them to justgaystuffpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And until next week,
You better remember to
stay gay, motherfuckers.
I'm talking about, you're talking about, we're talking about just gay stuff.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Just Gay Stuff. Make sure to follow us at Just Gay Stuff Podcast on all your socials and write to us with your stories at justgaystuffpodcast@gmail.com.